Fun. It was so much fun. Like growing up in Ghana literally was the best thing. It was colorful, it was artistic. And again, when you're growing up in that environment, you don't even think of it that way. You messaged me last time, you're like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. I'm like, of course I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You didn't even have to ask me twice. Silence is very important.
Absolutely.
When doing like when trying to create tension or drama in shows. Bro,
right.
That's what I'm saying. Like I have so many ideas. At the moment I'm just waiting for the budget to catch up with my ideas.
I know. Because that's what
one day I'll do a project
and you'll be like,
shoot
that is it
with my team.
Yes.
Right? We'll go edit it, do the sound design, do the color, and then after that we'll watch it back together and we'll be like, that's exactly what we wanted. And that's what I'm waiting for. Let's big up the ladies though. Let's big up the misses.
My wife has been... Yes, guys, welcome to another episode of Let Inspiration Take Over podcast. Today, I have a very special guest, a friend of mine from back in the days who has graced us with his presence and his passions. His name is Freddie Kofie, or I remember him as Fred. Brother, welcome.
Thank you.
Podcast.
Everyone just calls me Freddie.
They just call you Freddie, yeah?
Yeah, dude,
like,
I remember when I moved here,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, oh, when I meet everyone, I'm like, oh, my name is Selim.
Right.
Because in Ghana, you know, you have your home name,
Okay.
and then you have like your English name.
Okay.
Obviously, when I moved here, I was, trying to be all, I was African, obviously. So I wanted to introduce myself as an African. So I would usually say my name is Selim.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, when I moved here. And then,
Yeah.
as soon as people found out my name was Freddie, like everyone just forgot Selim.
That's what I'm saying, right? So for me, when I moved here, I remember when I went to school, I had my other name, MK, like people know me as MK Makuza, right? And Isaac. So they're like, Makuza. And then the teachers are like, well, you might want to call him Isaac, because the Makuza name would be a bit hard. And then it's like, man, it wasn't even that deep. So I ended up calling myself, well, not calling myself because he is my middle name, right? Yeah. So it's like, so it's gonna be Isaac.
Dude,
so
I
like,
never knew you as Isaac. Do you know when I noticed your name as Isaac?
When you saw it on Facebook?
No, dude. Like it's just like, when was that?
Yeah.
Was it last week? Last week when you messaged me on Facebook.
Oh right, okay, yeah,
on chat.
Like,
and I was like,
Isaac? Who's Isaac?
Who's that guy?
The people that know me now, they'll know Isaac, right? The people that know me from back in the day, they're like,
you are Isaac?
I know, right? I've had a couple of people come onto the podcast and they've got like somebody's called me MK all the way through the podcast.
Listen, I'll call you MK, man.
My son name is Isaac. Isaac speaks. That's what we do over here.
Oh yeah.
But no, I was gonna say, brother, listen, I'm so happy. I'm so glad to have had you here today. Purely off of, as I was saying, I was looking through your story and I was reading through your story. It's just interesting that your story is so eerily similar to mine, bro. Like just in so many ways, in the way you came here, the way you started your business. Of course, there are a few places where it's different and that sort of thing. But
of course,
one of the things that we have in common is that we're third culture kids who were uprooted, from back home in Africa, brought here.
I like the way you said uprooted.
Uprooted. That's what
I said. We didn't have
that's
a
what
say.
I consider it, right?
Although I did want to move here. I'm not gonna lie.
You did want to move here, yeah.
Of course, man. Back home, it's like, I'm going to England.
I know, right?
And it's exciting.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And we're all kids, and like you've seen all these places, like all these kind of like Western places on TV.
Yes,
and you
it's
always
cool. It's England, right?
So I always wanted to come here, but
I hear you.
Still uprooted. I'll go with that.
Exactly, bro. No, because I was gonna say I wanted to come to England until I came to England. I was like,
I know.
I'd rather have all my friends and all that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But then mum had the choice because she was the main guardian, and like, there's nothing that we could say about it. If she said you're coming, right?
That's it. It's true.
But bro, before we jump into it, I know this will be a very interesting story just because there's so much to touch on. And, having looked at your background when you send me your mini bio, it's an inspiring story, right? But if you could tell our viewers and listeners actually, a little bit of background about yourself, what it is you do at the moment and what it is that got you onto this podcast today.
Right, yeah. So my name is Freddie, or you can call me Selim, but I'm a videographer. And yeah, I recently basically started my business during the pandemic.
Brilliant.
You know, like a little video production, you know, company, doing videos at the start for like, you know, businesses. The idea initially was to obviously, because the pandemic was kind of hard on businesses.
Okay.
I figured, you know, I can do like little promotional videos for businesses I can use for my own content.
Okay.
And then from there kind of like grow.
Okay. Brilliant.
And over the past like year, it's kind of like snowballed into kind of like focusing on events and weddings. So at the moment, that is the space I am at the moment. Like, so I focus on like shooting weddings. Yeah.
Okay. And do you enjoy what you've been doing?
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Like, I love everything video. If you know me, like, listen, one of my wife's main accusation to me is that you're always watching videos.
Oh, yes. Is it YouTube? Is that your thing?
Yes, okay, dude. Cool. I consume a lot of like visual content.
Yes,
I love videos, like music videos, documentaries, podcasts.
Yes,
everything video. I love it. So this is my space. I enjoy it. Yeah,
brilliant,
for sure.
But prior to jumping into the project, what is it you were doing before? You know, in terms of your day job and things like that.
Talk us through a little. You know how it is, isn't it? Like, obviously, most of us started, you know, in customer service.
Yes.
But then I did customer service for a while, and then I got into account management.
Okay.
Working for a casino brand. And yeah, that's what I was doing. I was actually quite content doing that.
Okay.
At the start, I felt like the money was great, and
the account management bit. Yeah.
All
right. Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, obviously the pandemic hit, and then things kind of like got a bit
shifted.
Yeah. You know, in terms of like just mental well-being. Do you know what I mean? It was just a bit difficult during that time, and I was kind of like looking for something to do to kind of get me out of the funk.
Oh right,
yeah. And I've always kind of like, you know, messed around with videos. Like, I used to shoot videos with my wife all the time. Like, I'm that guy. I've got a camera. Like, babe, please come. Let's just shoot this video for me. Do you want to wear that outfit? Let's just go. And she's like,
do it. Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant,
I used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
But then usually I was just one of them guys like, I would do videos, and whenever I kind of like faced any sort of, what's the word? Any sort of kind of like constraint,
right? Okay.
I kind of give up. Yeah, so I did it. I did that for like a couple of years, and then you know, since the pandemic, I've kind of like I'm more grounded now.
Yeah, it's helped you to really have a focus.
Oh yeah,
is it? Okay.
yeah, definitely.
What would you say was the reason behind that, where you will start something and then just not see it through, not complete it? Or
I don't even know. I just get bored.
Really?
I just get bored.
Yes.
And it's just and I'm sure some people are like this. It's just a situation like, I'm very laid back.
Okay.
So for me, if something is giving me problems, I will literally go around it.
Okay. Brilliant.
I'm not the type to, you know, just smash through things sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm actually developing that character at the moment where when I see problems, instead of kind of like going around it, sometimes
go through it and fix it.
Just just kind of like go through it. Do you know what I mean?
I had a friend that came on the podcast and he was like, he loves problems because he's a problem solver. I'm like,
I don't know.
I can't stand problems.
I don't like problems. And hey, listen, I do not like problems.
I don't like
like peace.
I was like, come and solve my problems. But then if you really think about it though, like life is a walking problem, right?
Yeah.
Life is a challenge in itself. There's always something that has to be sorted, that has to be dealt with. And that's kind of what gives us reason to live.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Even in business, people build entire businesses on solving problems. And the people that solve the biggest problems are actually the people that end up being the richest. So for example, if you think of Bill Gates, the problem that he's solving with Microsoft, if you think of Elon Musk, he's solving the
obviously Tesla,
electric, more renewable, more sustainable resource when everyone is on fuel. And now, do you know, with the fuel prices going mad, Tesla's stock price.
Me, I want an electric car, you know.
Right,
if I
do as well.
One,
I think it's coming, you know. I think it's coming because I'm the same. Like, I want a Tesla just for the environment, but
Yeah.
also because it's cool. Also
It's
because
cool.
I love what Elon does.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? That's another guy who loves problems.
Yeah.
You know why I know he loves problems? Because this guy sold his companies, I think it was in like 2004, 2003,
Yeah.
for over 300 million, and got all that money, reinvested it in other businesses, SpaceX, Tesla, and things like that, almost to the point of getting him broke. So I'm like, fam, if I was him, I'd have probably just retired,
but
right?
if you think about it, like relating it to what we do in terms of being in like the media space,
Yes.
like a lot of our work is problem solving. Like you have to be on the ball.
Yes.
If you're an editor, anyone who's ever edited any sort of video,
Yep.
know that
Me.
You don't always, you think you have everything until you sit down,
And then you rewatch it,
bro, and then you're like,
go back
oh my
piece
days, I
by
don't get it.
piece.
And then you have to figure out how to obviously make things work and you know make it such a way that when the audience watch it, they don't necessarily see
certain things.
what the problem was, because do you know what I mean? So you spend the time like problem solving.
Yeah.
So I say I don't like problems, but you know, doing
That
what
is
I do, especially shooting weddings,
Yep.
mate. Imagine missing the final kiss,
Bro.
or the first kiss.
What?
Imagine that.
You have to figure that out.
You're finished. Do you know what I mean?
And I thought I was bad.
No, seriously. When you're doing weddings and when you're shooting videos in general, especially videos that have narratives.
Yes.
Because I feel like most wedding shoots are what we call like run and gun.
Right.
Because
okay.
it's not always necessarily planned.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to keep your eye. You have to look at what is happening,
And then you figure, okay, this will suit, and you bring them. Okay.
Yeah, and because you're trying to tell a story, innit?
Fam, that's like creative intelligence.
Exactly.
So you have to have the intuitiveness, right?
to
be able to. Okay.
Because sometimes it's not necessarily just about the couple. Right.
It's about the family and how does it fit in?
Yeah.
How does it suit? Is this correct?
Who is that holding someone else's hand?
Okay.
And who's that interacting?
How can that fit
Who's
in?
that little child interacting?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Those kind of
bro.
like little things. And that is what I feel like when I'm editing
Absolutely.
my videos. Those are the moments I'm looking for. Those kind of like little hugs between people. The little kind of like talks between people.
But you see, that can only come beforehand. That's why I called it creative intelligence.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things I feel like you can only capture in that moment.
Yeah.
Right. So you either have it or you don't.
Yeah. You
so
need
my
to,
guy, you will have it. Right.
It's over time though. It's over time.
Yeah.
Right. It's over time.
Yeah,
like,
man.
because when I started, right. And to be fair, I guess for me, because I love stories.
Okay.
Like I love stories.
Really?
Do you know what I mean?
I'm the same. I'm passionate
I love
about
stories.
inspirational
Yeah.
stories.
So-
more so. Yeah.
Whatever, anything I'm looking at, I'm trying to find a bit of a narrative in there. You know, and I did not even know this, but one of the good things so far, like in terms of feedback, when I edit wedding videos for my clients,
Okay.
one of the things they say is like, oh, I like those kind of like intimate moments to capture.
Really?
And I don't know. I
don't notice it just comes to you naturally.
Me, I'm just shooting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like those kind of like maybe the bride is talking or having an interaction with like
Just a smooth
someone.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean those kind of like little moments. I didn't even know that I'm doing it.
Wow.
But that is one of the feedbacks I've gotten.
Yes.
Which obviously shows me that maybe I'm maybe a bit okay at this. You know what I mean?
You're
Yeah,
not,
so-
fam. Why are you being modest for, fam?
No, but listen.
You're the guy.
again, my brother.
Yes.
With these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's trial and error in it,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
I feel
You're
like
not gonna get it all right. That's
No.
the one thing I've had to learn the hard way.
you
because-
learn on the job.
Yeah, bro, I'm a perfectionist. Yeah, there's some things that I've done that I've learned to just let it go. Like certain
Yeah.
things, it's like if the bigger picture is working, it's fine.
Yeah.
There's certain things you are gonna get wrong, and even from when I started this podcast,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I say to myself, I'm going to constantly be learning,
Yeah.
constantly be adjusting,
Yeah.
right? To refine the product.
Yeah.
So even in areas where somebody will look at it and be like, oh, well, that could be better,
Yeah.
or the lighting could be better, or the sound could be this way.
Yeah.
I'm like, fam, I'm a constantly learning.
I used to be like that.
Right?
I used to be like that. And I was telling you earlier,
Yeah.
the person that actually called me out on that
Yeah.
was my sister.
Bro.
Because I'll edit videos.
Yes.
And I'll send it to her and she's like, oh,
That looks amazing. And you're like,
And I'm like,
it's
nah, the
missing
lighting is
something.
not there.
It's
This is
missing
not there. The
something.
sound is a bit off. It's like, mate, if you didn't tell me, I wouldn't even know.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? So
Do you
like,
get what I mean?
put your workout.
Yeah.
I never used to do that.
Really?
I never ever used to do that.
It's the same thing with the pod, right? When I started out from inception, when I was doing, I told you I was a one camera outfit, right? With the one camera, people are already telling me like, fam, the quality is amazing and the setup is, I'm like, nah.
Bro, because you have an idea.
This is not it, right? Like this is not it. Okay, so I upgraded to 2-camera setup. The 2-camera setup, same thing. People are like, fam, this is, the quality is amazing. I'm like, no. It's not translating how I really wanted to translate on camera. Because as you attest, being a visual creative, you can have an idea in your head.
Oh, yeah.
You put it together, you shoot, but it doesn't translate on camera. So I think that's a completely different thing where it's like you have to learn to say, okay, for something to translate correctly, visually, it doesn't have to look that way in person. So it might take maybe this like, I tried moving it forward a little bit and I realized, nah, it's not coming. So I have to move it behind. However, when you see it in the thing, it looks a certain way. So the lights, okay, you can't have them glaring everywhere. So you have to set them in a certain way where there's some shadows. So you learn about your shadows. You learn about the backlight or the light that adds a little bit of color because it's going to make it look weird and how to place the table and all these other stuff. But the thing that I've discovered, Fred, is I enjoy all of it.
Problem solving, man. That's what we were talking about earlier.
I absolutely love it. Because even when it comes to editing, I'm not the best editor. I'm not the best videographer because I'm also podcasting. I love sound and that kind of thing. So, but even with that, when I'm editing now, it's increased my edit time. Before, when I was doing the 2-camera, when I was doing 1 camera, no edit. All I had to do was to attach the sound to the picture.
To the video,
that's it.
And that's it.
Then I had to do the cut between the guest when they're talking and then me and the guest. Now it's 3 cuts. So sometimes
that's what's up.
But then it's a cut where every little detail I add in because I'm trying to capture the story in the conversation. So I want it to flow the way a conversation will flow. So that means it could take second cuts, like 1 second, 2. So that is going to take you ages. And I'll add this on, right? I was watching a movie on Netflix called, I think is it the Grey, is it Grey Man or something about the Grey Man, with Ryan Gosling, right?
Yeah, that movie was a bit weird stuff. I didn't like that.
Did you not like it? No, I loved it. I loved it because I was telling my wife, like, I watch movies. The movies that I've been watching in the past have just not really been it. But that movie, the reason why I loved it was the visuals. If you notice the cuts, these guys were doing 1 second cuts in a movie. How long did it take them to edit that? Like I was watching every single, like the lighting and the darkness so I was like, fam, I'm now appreciating cinema more and the amount of work that goes, into it. And that's I'm sure you can attest to it. For me, I can do it like I can be editing. It will take me like 6 hours. And I'll be like, it won't really feel like it was work. Whereas my day job, if I do it for 8 hours or 6, I'm like, that's
I know
a lot of work.
I know what you mean.
Do you get what I mean?
I mean, if you're looking for kind of like really good visual storytelling, right? South Korean cinema.
Really? I haven't checked that yet.
Those South Koreans, like, they know how to shoot a movie.
Okay.
For sure. And I'll tell you, like, some of the Hollywood, like, blockbusters, I think some of them actually derive from, like, South Korean cinema.
Yes. I saw Quentin Tarantino apparently is inspired by Chinese cinema.
100%. 100%. There's this movie called I Saw the Devil.
Ooh, I Saw the Devil.
Bro,
I don't know about that one.
No. Hey, listen.
Tell me about it.
Tell everyone this, bro. I Saw the Devil. It's a legit movie. It is so sick.
Is it a horror movie?
It's not even a horror movie.
Okay.
It's about this serial killer, right?
Ooh.
That murders a detective's wife.
Okay.
It's like a revenge movie.
All right. Okay.
But it's just the way it's shot.
Oh, is it like The Punisher? Similar undertones to The Punisher, or?
Similar, but in its own kind of like
way,
Korean way.
Okay,
like they just have they have a way of telling their stories, man.
I hear you.
It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. You need to check it out. That was just by the way, just
okay. No, by the way. Oh no, I thought you were gonna take us in and tell us about
no. But I had to tell you about that movie, man. It's
right.
hard.
So like, are you a big fan then in terms of just visual and cinema and that kind of thing? Is that something that you're passionate about?
Oh yeah, I love movies. I mean, I'm not. I'm never gonna be like a Tarantino. Or anything like that.
You're gonna be a Kofi. That's what you are.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But
yeah,
I do try and use some of their techniques,
right?
Especially when I'm like doing music videos.
Okay.
Yeah, I try and kind of like incorporate some of their techniques. Like the crash zoom and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? That is a Tarantino thing where it's like when you watch like old Chinese movies, they do this thing where it will kind of like zoom in straight, like boom into the face. And Tarantino does that a lot.
Right.
And he got that from there.
Yeah.
From like the Asian cinema.
Yeah.
And I try and I've started incorporating those kind of like little things. Do you know what I mean?
I would tell you, I didn't understand just how much work goes into production until I was doing not that mine isn't even work. I can only imagine the amount of work that goes into movies, fam, right?
Mate.
Even the storyboarding. And do you know when you were describing the wedding and the fact that you capture the nuance and you look for the scenarios, you look for the bits, that means you are the machine. You are the guy that makes it happen. And there are people that don't have that. Do you get what I mean? But that's what I've learned to say. Like, there's so much that goes into it now, and I've learned. I was like, fam, this is not as simple. You'll be watching. There's some YouTubers or there's some directors that make it look like it's easy, right? But that's how I do. So the thing that I was thinking about was the emotion. There's certain scenes sometimes that I've seen, whether it's through shadows or sounds, it's made me emotional. Right. And I've seen that movie. And at the time, I didn't really think about it. Why? Like, I just felt but the person that made it, I bet you their mentality
it's very
was
intentional.
It was very intentional to make you feel that way, right?
100%,
I'll give you an example. Like, I watched The Lion King when I was young. And I remember the scene of when the dad died. Fam, I think I was, how old was I? Like 8, 9? I cried, fam.
Really?
That scene made me cry. I haven't admitted this in a long time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't cry watching Lion King.
I
did. You know what?
Lion King,
you know what? One movie that nearly made me cry.
Yes.
That thing nearly brought the beat out on me, like a little bit. Bro, Titanic, innit?
Yes.
Don't go, Jack.
Jack.
I was like, oh man. Listen, I was sat there, I remember the first time I watched it. And it's funny because we actually watched it in church.
Really?
Back in Ghana.
Wow.
When I was like, about 10, 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we watched it because, I used to be a seventh.
Boy.
Yeah.
Seventh-day
Adventist, yeah.
Okay.
And I was actually quite big into church back in Ghana, yeah.
Yeah, every African, bro. We all grew up in church. Yeah.
And I remember watching that. It was a Sabbath evening, and that movie came on. They put it on for us, and watching, and that scene came. Obviously, when the sex scene in the bus came, that was a bit awkward. And still,
oh, you still watched it?
I mean, like, obviously,
forward for me.
Yeah.
Or you gotta pretend to look away.
Yeah, it's one of them ones you have to pretend. But to be fair, it was just the youth watching it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't
adult. It wasn't an adult. Okay.
Yeah. It was like the youth,
cool,
the youth society. So yeah. But that was a bit awkward, in it still.
Nah, I hear
but when that scene came on, and he was like about to drown, and she was like, Jack.
Jack.
Bro, I was sat there like, I'm not gonna cry, man. Because there's that girl that sat there, like, I really like that girl.
I have to be a strong man, right?
Yeah, but movies have a way, like, do you know what I mean? Like, not necessarily just movies, like, just visual storytelling.
Absolutely,
like,
bro.
It just has a way of
doing something to you,
getting you in your emotions and
right?
that. Do you know what I mean?
And I'll tell you, this is where I want to get, like, even this craft of like having conversations about people and what they do and what they love to do, right? I think I mentioned to you earlier, I'm passionate about sharing inspirational stories with people, other people's stories, especially people that I just resonate with, right?
Yeah.
But as I go along, I want to get to the point where I can be able to do that via, film, via frames, by all these little things to capture all the nuanced details of a conversation. So when somebody's talking, to know when to zoom in, to know when to capture their hands and what they say. Because even me, when I talk, I'm very expressive. And to know like this, to use the silences, to use all those little things. I really, really want to get into that and to be able to tell conversational stories in a way that people can be gripped. And what I've noticed in the era we live in now, it's an era of frames. Like if you have one frame, fam, nobody's staying for your content, right? You need to keep them interested, engaged, and one of the ways to do that is to add, as you say, that little bit of an effect, that creativity, where the people will think, oh, it's just a podcast, but they don't understand that
a bit of tension,
very intentional, a bit of tension, right?
And I was gonna say, actually, it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned silence, right?
Because it can really create tension.
You haven't actually, I doubt you've ever thought of this, but one show that uses silence very, very well.
Which one?
To create tension. Wait for it.
This show.
No. Did you feel the tension?
What's going on?
No. Wait. Yo. It is. What's the name of this show again?
Love Island.
No.
Because they do that thing where it's like, and the winner is they're silent for a little while.
Made in Chelsea.
Made in Chelsea. Do they?
Right?
Far more.
I did. Yeah. I did like a whole essay on it.
Oh, did you?
Back in uni, because I did TV production in uni.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get to that, man.
Yeah.
Go on.
But watch that show.
Okay.
Right. Watch the interaction between people, and usually when they're gonna move
awkward moments.
When they're gonna move on to the next scene.
Yeah.
After they've said something, obviously, like for example, maybe they're like, maybe having a bit of an argument. Yeah. Right. You quit, you say something, I quit back. You say something, I quit back.
Yeah.
And then you quit back, and then they just leave it there. Silence. And then they're both staring at each other.
And it's like, what do I say? What's going to happen next?
And then they cut to the next scene. And people watch these kind of shows, right? You think you're just there for the drama.
Yeah.
That adds to the drama.
Absolutely.
That is the tension, that little tension. So it's interesting, interesting you mentioned silence.
Yeah.
Silence is very important.
Absolutely.
When doing when trying to create tension or drama in shows.
I've noticed even frames, fam. Now I watch a lot of interviews.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of podcasts and I see what they're doing. I'm like, before I never used to watch it with intention. I just used to go there, oh, that's what they do. Now I watch what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so this is why they'll even cut to the person when they're not talking. When I used to edit before, it just used to be, if you're not talking, I'm not going to you.
It's about the reactions, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's about reactions.
The little nuanced versions, what they do is they really help to tell the story. And then for the listener or the viewer, it helps them out as well. Do you get what I mean? The grippy, to know when to do what. But yeah, it's just the thing that you said earlier, it's just so perfect, because the first time when I really experienced what you said was when Intantu, a rapper that came onto the podcast I spoke to, came to shoot my promo video in the studio. And this
I love that video, by the way. I need to meet that guy.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, bro, I need to. Hey, let's work together, man. I literally just saw this video, the video this afternoon.
I have been getting a lot of positive feedback. People have been hitting me up because I put it on my Insta story. People are hitting me up, fam. That's so dope. But I'm saying, when I tell you this guy was so meticulous, it's every little bit. He goes, sit here and do this thing, and the things that he's asking me to do, I'm like, they don't make sense to me, right? But then he knows he's got this. He has the thing that I say, the creative intelligence, where he just knows, okay, I think he took so many frames where he's like, okay, I could use this, and the ones I don't need to use, I'll get rid of. But then he goes and storyboards it. So when he now presents this product, which is the promo video of LiT, this guy's ended up producing what I asked him to produce, but better on another level. But then even when I saw him, I just knew that he was capable of doing so, because I saw his creativity, I saw the things that he does, and he was putting together. I was like, this is the man for the job. So when I hired him, I was like, fam, look, this is what I need. Are you able to produce it for me? Do you get what I mean? Which is why, for me personally, I believe in like people like yourself and people, that specialize in what they do. And I'm now at a point where I actually don't mind spending the buck when I've got it for somebody that can come and do something that I can't do.
You can't do, yeah.
And I accept that there's certain things that I just won't know how to do. And you have to hire a professional.
True.
But you will find that, what I've noticed anyway, in our let me say, I don't know if I want to say our community, but amongst black people, you will find that people think they can do everything. So what they will put something together. Yes, they've done it, and it doesn't translate. But then the person want to admit the fact that that thing that they've done, even though you've spent a lot of money, it hasn't translated in what you wanted to do, because you haven't actually consulted in somebody that's actually passionate, you know, about that particular thing. So it means you have to sub-hire. You have to bring somebody that can actually get that job done. I don't know if this is something that you've experienced or what you think about that.
No, that is definitely true. I mean, for example, in video production, the obviously, at the moment, I'm at a stage where I have to do everything by myself.
There you go. Same. I'm a one-man band.
I have to. Do you know what I mean?
When you're starting out,
as soon as I can afford it, I'm getting a colorist.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes, of course. I'll get someone to do
that.
Yes, color is so important. Like when you watch movies, right? When you watch movies, sometimes when I go on Netflix and I click on a movie, when I see how it's been graded,
immediately. If it's off,
I'm not watching it, because I just know, like,
really,
fam, you couldn't even get the color right.
Wow,
how is this going to be good?
This is spoken like a typical videographer, fam.
No, because coloring is hard and it's so important because it sets the mood, right?
Absolutely.
For example, look at you, right? Look in here. Yeah, there's a reason why you're using gold.
Of course,
it's very relaxing.
And the gold matches the undertones and the colors. You've noticed,
exactly.
It's like the chairs,
exactly.
They sort of tie in together.
Look at it this way, dude. You could have used red. Yeah. You could have used green.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you use gold.
Exactly.
It's relaxing.
Absolutely.
It's tungsten.
Absolutely.
Right? It's good. Right? Exactly. So color is very important.
It really is.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, when I get to a space where I can actually afford to do that, I'm getting a colorist. I'm getting a sound guy, someone who can actually do sound.
To make it sound what it needs to sound like, right?
Sound what it needs to sound like. Like there's so many aspects of like video production.
Yeah.
But I do fully agree that it's important to leave certain things to the professionals.
Absolutely.
Even me as a videographer, I'm saying this.
Yeah.
I'm not the best colorist, right?
Okay.
I know that because that is not where I flourish. I'm good at the camera. Yeah. Right. I love movement.
Okay.
Right. That is where I feel like my strong suit, and I think I've got like a good eye for detail in terms of videography.
Yeah.
But coloring is not my strong suit. It's just as simple as that. I can do it.
Admit it.
Yeah, of course. I could, but self-awareness.
Absolutely.
You have to be self-aware all the time.
Let me tell you, for me, what you've said, the goal is I will do it myself as long as I can, because that's what I can afford.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But even with the little that I've had, I've built, and it's showing that I can put out a quality product.
Exactly.
Where I want to be, fam, I'm going to have to hire a team.
Thank you.
But then when the team's there, though, it's like it makes sense, because if we're producing, let's say we're producing for companies and the money is coming in, absolutely. And there's a certain level of product where I want to get, where I say, this is lit. Yeah. This is us, right? Let inspiration take over. This is what we do, and I extend it to other things. I like the fact that I have the mind to know what I'm good at and to know what I'm not. Right? And to know when I'm making it work.
That is what I mean? That is to a certain extent emotional intelligence as well.
Absolutely.
You have to comprehend your limits as a human being. You can't do it all. Yep. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say to you, Fred, like there's a guy that does this at the height. Like he does podcasting as well. UK guy. Like, I'll say I look up to him, even though he's younger than me, right? Yeah, because he's just been doing bits, and the way he does it is it's different. That's him, right? It's Stephen Bartlett. Don't know if you've heard of his podcast, The Diary of a CEO.
Of course, yeah.
The man invested in his setup, and then he has a team. I think he has a team of, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, of 20. He has people that do cameras, people that do lighting, people that do his guest acquisition.
Yeah, but I've seen his work. I think I follow him on. I think I follow him on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of his work.
Yeah.
you know that he's got a team.
A professional.
Right?
Yeah. And the team is not just technical, it's all the little elements, but I love it because it allows him to produce what he produces at the highest level. The things that we said about the tension and the emotion, but then also him as a man, you can tell, like, oh, this man has actually done his homework and things like that. And it's just different. I can imagine it's really different when you're working with a team. Whereas when you're a one-man band, like even before you came here today, Fred, I was doing the, cleaning up, obviously, because it's glass and clear up a few things, make it, nice.
Hey, you've done a good job, man. Listen.
I appreciate that. Whilst still like trying to check the technicals, I was already checking the frame, or will it be in frame? And then obviously we had a mishap earlier, but we won't speak about that. I forgot the simplest thing, which is like just to change the memory cards, right? Because you can imagine if you're working on all these other things, the things that seem simpler are the things that you forget, and then yet they're actually really crucial to everything that you're doing. But then that's part of being a one-man band, because it's like you're trying to think of every little thing that you're going to do, but then sometimes it just doesn't work out.
It doesn't.
You're going to miss something, right?
I was shooting a wedding this weekend, last weekend in London. It was Chinese tea ceremony.
Brilliant.
And it's actually the first time I've actually shot anything like that, and it was really, really interesting.
Yes.
Like it's kind of similar to how West Africans do it, where you show respect to. So, for example, my wedding, there's this thing Yoruba, because my wife is Yoruba. There's a thing.
She's Nigerian.
Yeah.
Mamo, how'd you manage to bag yourself a Nigerian woman?
Man. Obviously, West African brothers.
No, it's not that simple, fam. You're kind of, she's Nigerian.
They love us.
It ain't that simple.
They love us.
Is she?
I'm telling you.
Is she Igbo or is she?
She's Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Yeah, she's Yoruba. Yeah.
You bag yourself a Yoruba woman.
Come on, man. Listen.
Mamo. Okay. I got respect for you. I'll tell you, I'm married too. I'm married to Zimbabwean, but then we're pretty much similar.
Yeah.
Like culturally, we're pretty much the same. Even though it might be tougher, but I got more respect for you because fam, Nigerians.
Hey, listen, that wedding was no joke,
How did you convince the dad, the father?
Listen, I don't know whether I could even say this, but
right.
I was having a conversation with my in-law, and she was like, Freddie, so the first time you came to visit us, you cut your beard, your hair was nice and trim. And now look at you, now you have long beard
and big hair, rasta. You remember what they used to say,
bro? She proper hates it, but they love me. They love me. And to be fair, they've literally the first day I went to the house, like they kind of accepted me.
That's brilliant.
So I never really had that kind of like issues that a lot of people may have, going into
That means you must have made a really good impression on your wife, on your daughter, because what would then happen? That means she will have obviously put in a good word.
Yeah,
or maybe the way you make her feel, the way she looks.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get in there, she's already laid, work for you.
But I remember our wedding, like I was just trying to kind of compare it to the tea ceremony thing, where in the Yoruba culture, there's this thing called kobale. Kobale is like you lay down. Like you lie on the floor for your elders.
As a show of respect.
As a show of respect, yes. So we had to do that. But what I shot this weekend, so they serve tea to their elders, but they do it kneeling down. So as a sign of respect. So I could kind of like relate to that, but it was so interesting.
Oh, right.
It was so interesting.
Wow,
but
brilliant.
That was the first time I covered a wedding by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you manage that? Did you have like different equipment and things? How does that even work, bro?
I mean, okay, so if you're gonna do, contrary to maybe what others may believe, I think like if you're working by yourself, it's probably better to be light. You don't want to be, you can't be managing three cameras. So I had 2 cameras. I was holding one. I put one there to just capture everything. And then one, and I was kind of like in and about, just trying to capture moments and all the little hugs and things I was kind of like talking about.
Yes.
I've got a version of the video. It's just a first cut. I'll show you.
Okay. Brilliant.
I'm gonna make changes, but but yeah, that was the first time I covered a wedding by myself.
Okay.
And it wasn't easy.
I can imagine.
It wasn't easy. And I was a bit scared, I'm not gonna lie, because you can't miss anything. Really.
Yes.
At the end of the day, obviously, the wedding contract did say that they wanted one videographer.
Okay.
And but at the end of the day, the the products that you give to your client at the at the end,
must be happy.
They must be happy with it. They don't care whether it was just you or 3 people.
It's their big day that they'll remember forever.
Exactly. So
it has to translate.
It has to translate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I mean, those are some of the stresses anyway.
Okay. And from what you've seen in the initial cut, would you say it translated?
I think so. I think so. And to be fair, one of the things I actually do that I've actually started doing is I try and get an inside man.
Right.
In the wedding.
Okay.
So for example, if it's like one of the bridegrooms or one of the groomsmen, that I'll kind of like talk to, while editing and be like, oh, so when I do like a little cut, I'll be like, oh, I've done this cut. I'll show a snippet and be like, what do you think? What? Because you know them. What? Do you know what I mean? So if they have any pointers, they'll usually tell me. Then I'll kind of like edit it that way and change it up and make it fit what they want. It's all about building relationships and and
communicating.
And communicating.
You don't want to have done a whole thing and then the people look at it and they're like, what did you do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you can't go back, and I can only imagine the pressure because it's a wedding.
It's not
a one-day event and they've spent a lot of money. So it's not like they can do over.
And renting a wedding videographer is not cheap.
Exactly. So so you're in the money fridge.
Hey, listen, it's not cheap, man. It's not cheap.
Yeah,
so obviously, if you take someone's money, you have to at least produce, what at least a minimum.
Yes.
What they want. Obviously, the whole idea or the goal is to give them something way better than they expect.
Absolutely.
But bare minimum is give them what they wanted in the first place. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone all the way into the conversation. This is how I love it. Like when inspiration takes over and it's just, there you go. I was going to ask you though, where I normally start with my guests is foundationally. Do you find that, when you were growing up, was creativity encouraged in your household and that sort of thing? Did you guys have like cameras, or maybe not necessarily cameras or anything, but is that something that you were drawn to even as a child?
No, I don't think I was. It's actually quite interesting. But
yes.
But
you're gonna have to explain this one.
It's a difficult one, right? It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
I don't even know whether I've always been like into creativity and stuff like that. It's a bit of a difficult one.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, tell us a little bit about your upbringing, growing up in your household, or not necessarily in your household, just what do you remember?
Yeah.
About growing up.
Me, I was saying like me, I grew up in the village, innit?
Oh, right.
In a proper village.
Yes.
With my grandma.
Village boy. But look
at
you now, Mr.
Hey,
Posh.
listen, come on. Village boy back in the day, growing up, we didn't have a TV.
No way. No TV.
No TV, bro. Like, you need to try and, the neighbor might have a TV. So some of us in the area will go and hide, like, go to the window and try and watch TV through the window. You know what I mean?
We had a black and white TV. Right, and I thought we were mad,
bro. We didn't have a TV, fam. And then eventually, I remember my mum and dad, they got like a 14-inch TV.
Yes,
like it was a colored TV, like back in like the mid-90s, and that was a big deal.
There you go. Because all the neighbors and everyone will be coming to your house to watch TV.
They used to do that to us, obviously, eventually, because we used to do it when we were kids to other people, and then we got a TV, and then everyone used to like come to our window and But anyway, so I grew up in Ghana. With my grandma, and then eventually we kind of like moved from the village, into the city, following my dad. Because at the time, I didn't even know this at the time, because the reason why I was actually living with my grandma was because my mom had decided to put herself through school.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we didn't obviously we were kids. We didn't know that. All we knew was mom had gone away. Dad had gone away, and then we were stuck with,
with grandma.
Not necessarily stuck, but we were living with our grandma.
Stuck.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
I love our grandma.
I know what you mean, right?
And she was a strong woman.
Yes,
bro. I mean, physically, not just thinking like that.
African grandmothers,
she used to run a tight ship. I'm telling you, me and my brother, we had to wake up at sometimes like 4 in the morning. We walk like 3 hours to the farm, right? And sometimes mango season, me and my brother will go and pick mangoes and go and sell in the market. It was those, obviously, saying it now, it sounds like, oh my God, you were a child and you did
but
back then it was fun. Like it was just,
I'm saying,
me and my brother,
it's just something that you were doing.
We used to do. Like, do you know what I mean? It was
I hear you.
just bonding time. Now, if you think about it, you know, just bonding time. But yeah, like we used to go to the farm, follow her, you know, strong woman. But anyway, eventually we moved to the city.
Yeah.
To the south.
Okay.
Where the Akans are. So we moved to a city called Takoradi. And Takoradi, again, if you know Ghana, you know Accra. Okay. But really and truly, everybody knows Takoradi is where it's at, right?
Yes.
Simply because the culture, the vibes there is mad.
Fam, you're going to make me visit Takoradi. Is it Takoradi?
Takoradi, bro.
Yeah. I've heard of Kumasi.
Yeah, Kumasi is nice as well, innit? But Kumasi is landlocked, man. They don't have, there's no beaches.
Is it like, okay.
Yeah, they won't.
But Takoradi is the one, yeah?
Bro, the west side, Atlantic.
Why is it I'm only hearing about this place now,
because nobody knows about it. Because everybody talks about, everybody talks about Accra.
Right.
Takoradi has so much cultural significance.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the west of Ghana, there's this thing called Ankos.
Okay.
Ankos is essentially just like masquerade, right?
All right. Okay.
But the way they do it, right? So Christmas, right? Christmas time, that is when like Ankos come out. So there's like a lot of like little organizations. Right. So they all have their own kind of like style of dress, style of dance, the kind of music that they play.
Yes.
And they take over the town and they wear like masks. So like scary masks. Right?
Oh,
yeah.
In Zambia.
Yes, they wear scary masks. And literally it's just like,
and then is it like they do traditional dances or?
Bro, I don't even know whether it's traditional. There's it's a particular type of dance. I'll show you later on.
Yeah, no. We've literally got that in Zambia. I will show you something.
I've looked at friends and showed me.
Wow, brilliant.
But yeah, growing up in that environment, man, it was colorful, it was artistic. And again, when you're growing up in that environment, you don't even think of it that way.
Yes.
It's just what it is, isn't it? That's where you are. Do you know what I mean? But now thinking back at it, like thinking back to those times.
Tough life, fam.
It was, but it was fun. It was so much fun. Like growing up in Ghana literally was the best thing.
Bro.
For me, I loved it. 100%.
There you go.
100%.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It was the same for me in Zambia. Yeah. It's like until I came here. Do you know there was a thing I think that you mentioned earlier about coming to England?
Yeah.
There's always this thing where you're like, it's England, right? It's Europe.
Yeah.
Never been to Europe. Everyone speaks highly and it's Europe and that's somewhere where you want to be and all this kind of stuff. And then you kind of come here, the culture shock kind of puts you off a little bit. Because I remember just my first time getting to England. Yeah. I was like, I'm looking at the houses, I'm looking at everything. It's like, what? So is this the thing that people have been going on about? Like, I don't know. It was a big kind of like, it was underwhelming is what I'm going, to say for me.
No character.
What's this? Because, you're saying no character?
No character. Because I mean, it's difficult because like you could be in like Essex.
Yes.
Right? You'll be walking through an area in Essex that looks exactly the same.
Yes.
Like an area in like Sheffield.
Absolutely.
Or in
Nottingham.
Leeds. Or in Nottingham.
It looks just
everything looks the same.
Yeah.
And that is what put me off. Because in Ghana, you can do whatever you want.
All kinds of Nigeria. I've seen all kinds of bad houses.
All kinds of houses, fam. Or like, dude, there was a house like a boat. It was designed like a boat. This is a millionaire. You can, it's your land now. You can do what you want.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And that is what I've kind of found interesting. Like the everything was just the same.
Yes.
And I just felt like there was just no character.
I hear what you mean, but I think the reason why they do it that way is the uniqueness. Because when people come, that's what they expect to see.
Yeah.
If you've noticed, there's certain buildings that won't allow you to change the outside or to change certain characteristics, no matter how much you want to renovate it or do it. So you get planning permission, but you have to maintain its integrity.
But I get it now, though. I get it now.
I get it now.
But it's just like, when you come from like a place where you can more or less build whatever you want,
all kinds of things,
and then you move to a place where everything has to be uniform.
Yeah.
It's almost like
kind of like, what is going on here?
What's this?
Right?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that was the main thing for me in a way.
Yes. No, brilliant. Speaking of which, it transitions us brilliantly into you coming to the UK now, right?
Yeah,
so I want you to take us back a little bit. The time when you've been told now you're coming to UK, you live in Ghana and that kind of thing. What was that like to begin with? Like, what were you thinking in that time, right? Or what rather, let me ask this properly. What was your idea of what it would be like, and what was it actually like, the transitional period?
Mate, I just expected, I don't know. Yeah. I just expected just
queens and kings and
yeah. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I just expected a lot,
bro. Yeah.
And then when I moved there, I was almost underwhelmed.
Really?
Just slightly.
Yeah.
Like it actually got so bad. And aside from that, obviously the culture shock as well. It was a lot. So like literally within the first year, I wanted to go back.
Really?
Yeah. Like we
Did you actually ask your mum, like, Mum, can I
Oh yeah, it was a big it was a big deal in the house. Like I wanted to go back, like, you know. Yeah, it was a big deal.
This is England, you're not going back.
Yeah, you're not going back.
This is a land of opportunities. You should be thankful.
I know,
I know.
Forget
the fact you're feeling some type of way. Forget how you feel. You should just be thankful, right? But no, I'm saying that. It's like I'm speaking to myself because that's the same thing that I got.
Yeah.
Forget your feelings. You should just be thankful that you're in England.
It's true. It's true. I mean, that was what I was told anyway. Do you know what I mean? And you know what? In hindsight, obviously my mom was right. Really and truly, you know, okay. I feel like she was right. But again, I didn't really feel at home here.
Okay.
Until I would say when I went to uni.
Is when
that was when
settled in.
Everything kind of like started settling in.
Brilliant.
Obviously, I met. It's not like I didn't know any other Africans, you know, back in Sheffield, you know, growing up, because obviously I knew you.
Yes.
And we obviously.
A few other people, similar circles.
Yeah,
that's how we even got here, because of similar circles.
And it's funny because, dude, you messaged me last time. You're like, oh, you have a podcast. I'm like, of course I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You didn't even have to ask me twice.
And that's the thing. You were saying to me earlier, like, I didn't even ask you that many questions.
No, you didn't.
You were coming in ways like, I haven't even, you know, but it was one of those things. It's like, I've heard you're doing amazing things, brother. Come through. Let's talk about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would have come if there was no mics or cameras anyway. Yeah,
that's great, bro.
Because obviously, we know each other from back in the day.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So I was always gonna come through either way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just moving here was difficult, and uni did help to settle me in this country.
Right.
Like 100%.
Yeah, I love you've brought up uni, right? So what was the process behind you choosing the degree that you I'm assuming it wasn't really much of a decision, the fact that you were going to go to uni.
No, it wasn't. You
knew you were going to go to uni.
Yeah.
Right?
I had to go to uni.
So I know you started media, or rather TV production at university. You went to Bradford, where my wife and my sister.
Oh, really?
Bradford. Yeah, I know a couple of people that actually went to Bradford University. So
but
I don't know if it was a similar time. Maybe no. You were earlier than them.
Yeah,
but a lot of people have actually gone to the uni and they say, you know, it's brilliant. But not even. But so, what was the mind process deciding to study, you know, media or TV production, right? And then perhaps you can talk us through your experience of, you know, obviously saying that's where you found yourself and that sort of thing. I'd love to hear a bit about that.
I mean, I started kind of like realizing that I was much more. So, for example, in my family, right?
Yeah.
My brother is like the physics, maths, biology guy. Okay. Like that is what, you know, like super smart.
Really?
Yeah. Like that guy back in school, because we went to like the same boarding school back in Ghana. Like this, if you follow him, you will fail. He's one of them guys.
I wouldn't even try.
Bro. He's one of them guys who doesn't have a book. You know, people go to school like big bags on their back with books. No. My brother used to have one dirty little notebook. Yeah. But in his back pocket.
Yeah.
Extremely intelligent.
Wow. And is he one of these people like photographic memory, and he just
I don't know what kind of memory it is, but he's just very clever. Oh, wow. And I just wasn't built that way. I'm more of a creative. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you put maths question in front of me, I'll probably just combust. I'll literally just disappear. Do you know what I mean? But you know, you put like, you know, a video in front of me, and you tell me to kind of like break it down and make sense of it, and you know why they've done this or why this shot has been chosen. I could always kind of like do that, and I always kind of like analyzed movies back in the day, even before I started doing TV production. So when I decided to, you know, hone in on my creativity. I think I knew I wasn't necessarily like the best writer.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I knew I was okay at photography at the time. So I figured, you know what? Let me go this direction and see where it leads me. So when I got into college, that was when I kind of like honed in on TV production. Okay. And then uni, I was like, let me take it a step further. Let me do a degree in TV production and see how it goes. So that's basically, and I think at the time, and I'm still now at least, I think Bradford is actually one of the best faculties.
You mentioned
for TV production. For TV production, for sure.
I was gonna say, like, how did your parents feel about that? Because I know things like TV production, arts and dance.
Is it in the West African?
Not always, not even just West African, bro.
Really?
African parents in general.
Yeah, they don't play that.
Far more. Good luck with the arts, right?
Yeah.
They will tell you need to get serious. That's a hobby. Yeah. They will say do a medical or engineering or lawyer degree. Then you can go do the arts if you want to, right? So how did you find like were your parents encouraging your mom?
My parents were actually very like they've always been kind of like encouraging anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, obviously now that I'm a parent as well, I kind of like get that because not all your kids are not the same.
No.
They'll have different interests.
You can't raise them the same. You can't discipline them.
You can try, but that's just
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work because everyone is an individual. Everyone is different.
You also what I've learned from what you're saying, you can't expect the same from all your children.
Yeah.
Like how you described your boy, you said he's super smart, he's this and that.
Yeah.
Imagine then a parent is coming expecting that same smartness from you, who's more creative.
Or that's expecting like my creativity from my brother.
It's not going to work.
It's just not going to work.
He probably doesn't have a creative bond. Maybe he does. He's super genius, man.
He is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, luckily for me, my parents kind of understood that. Okay. Like, you know, like we're all not the same.
I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And obviously I have my sister as well, who is actually quite creative.
Brilliant.
And she's also very intelligent at the same time.
Okay.
You know? So they understood that. So when I told them I wanted to do like get into like the media space, and they knew I was a bit of a creative anyway.
Okay.
So they were actually quite encouraging about that. Okay. And actually, my mom bought me my first camera.
No way.
And my first iMac.
Oh, brilliant.
For uni, my mom bought it for me.
iMac.
Yeah. Nah,
iMac
for real.
For uni.
Listen, hey, my mommy loves me, man. Yeah, so no, they were actually quite encouraging.
No, that's great, bro. Yeah. No, that's interesting to hear because the stories that I've heard from the past from people, especially that come from like an African background, that's not always the story. I mean, you do get parents that will encourage you in what you do and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant. But sometimes that's not always, the narrative and that sort of thing because our parents will think that you need to go in a vocational craft that will get you money, which is more practical.
Yeah.
Whereas now you find that what you're doing is actually on high demand.
It is.
Right? There's so many things that are popping up where if you studied that, you're going to get work.
Yeah.
Even people, the way they do their weddings now, wedding videography is not what wedding videography used to be.
No.
Back in the days, it used to be camcorder. Do you know, we were talking earlier about the creativity and storyboarding. And the art that it takes, people, that's what they're demanding because they're seeing all kinds of things on like Netflix and Amazon. If you've seen even how they make just simple shows on Netflix, those are works of art, bro. We're talking about lighting, we're talking about shadows earlier, we're talking about sound and tension, all this other stuff, right? That's how it is. So if you've been perfecting that over a period of time, fam, you've been in demand.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
I was telling you about Ntantu, who I hired to do my promo video. There's a certain aesthetic that I wanted for it, which he delivered. He had the skill. I hired him.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Good buck, but it's like, I needed that. And then there'll be a lot more people that now need it. Do you get what I mean?
Exactly. So it's, I mean, you know what? That is what is good with our generation.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, I now understand.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, like, my son is very lucky.
Yes.
And I'm sure your son is very lucky as well.
Absolutely.
Because some of the constraints that may have been put in our way.
Yeah.
Our kids are not going to have that.
No.
Right? So, for example, your hair. you know, in African society, like hair is a big deal,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yep.
Especially in West Africa.
Yep.
I know Southern Africa, you know, you guys, you can lock your hair and stuff like that. In West Africa, that is a huge no-no.
No, really?
Oh, hair.
So you're starting trouble.
Yes. Even at this age,
bro.
see my aunties and my mom and my wife, parents see, but they're still like,
he's going
what's
mad.
going on? Yeah, of course. And that is what they would say. But I know in Southern Africa, having locks is a bit more culturally acceptable. Right?
You think so?
Well, you know, some of my
you.
Southern African friends do say that. Yeah. But luckily for our kids, there are avenues that they can take that we won't necessarily
be as hard line on.
Yeah.
I hear
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like little things like, you know, maybe locking their hair or, you know, doing their hair a certain way or their mode of dressing or, do you know what I mean? Those kind of like little things that was picked on when we were younger. I feel like they will have a bit more of a leeway.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's good. I mean, again, for example, my mom was happy for me to do what you know, I did in terms of TV production and learning to do videography and stuff like that. And obviously, I finished uni about 10 years ago and I'm still doing it.
There you go.
And it pays the bills.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean? I have a job.
But
I still do that.
Yeah. And it's
a
about
skill.
to be paying the bills even on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, bro, I can see you having a team. And what happens is that when you've got your own team now, you can educate them to do things how you do. Because I feel like with everything that you've told me, there's a method to what you do, which is something that can be canned and bottled. And so because you can't be everywhere at the same time. Yeah. However, you can teach people to do things how you do them, but they can be in different places. Yeah. So the people that want a bit of coffee, a bit of what you do, they come to your company knowing that you've embedded that throughout your entire company. As we were saying about the editing, the color grading and things like that. It doesn't take you having to be an expert at the thing. All it takes is you having an eye. And I'll tell you the perfect example of it. Steve Jobs. You know, Steve Jobs had no idea how to put together an iPad or an iPhone. However, he knew what he wanted the end product to be.
Look like,
So what he did, he would bring teams together of people who were good at certain things. He brought somebody who was really good at, you know, touch screen. He brought somebody who was really good at, you know, casing. And then he brought these teams in order to produce this thing. Before you know, you've got an iPhone or you've got iMac. He had a vision and he had an eye for something. Then he put together the people that were able to produce that. If Steve Jobs tried to produce that by himself, he couldn't have done it.
He'll be dead.
So the fact that you've got the eye, right, and you know what you're looking for, I think you can get that by having the different people. So they come, they produce your vision, you bottle that, and you can actually.
Oh yeah, I mean, in the long run, and to be fair, like I've only been doing this, you know, almost 2 years now.
Oh, nice.
In terms of longevity, that is nothing. Yeah, that is nothing. Like I know that there was this director I used to work with. Like he's quite big now. All the way back in uni, right? That was over 10 years ago. It's only now that he's getting that recognition as a music video director. And he's been sick. And he's been sick from day.
Happens, bro.
He's been sick from day. So like when I look at people, his journey and other people like him's journey, that started from time ago, right? It's only now that they're making it. 2 years is I'm actually in my infancy at the moment. Yeah. So knowing that, I try not to put too much pressure on myself.
No, bro.
All I'm trying to do at the moment,
get good and get better.
Get good and get better and get my vision together. Yes. Because I have a certain aesthetic I want to go for. Yes. Right? And every day in each of my production, I strive for that.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah. So, and eventually, I think I'll do a project. Like I said earlier on, I always do projects and I'm like, in my head, that's not what it looked like.
Better.
Right? It could exactly. Yeah. One day I'll do a project and I'll look at it and I'll be like, that's exactly what I wanted.
Absolutely.
And that is what I'm waiting for.
That
literally
me, right?
I promise you, that is what I'm waiting for. That one day I'll do a project
and you'll be like,
shoot
that is it
with my team. Yes. Right? We'll go edit it, do the sound design, do the color. And then after that, we'll watch it back together and we'll be like, that's exactly what we wanted. And that's what I'm waiting for.
I'm telling you, listen, you know, you keep on the path where you are. What you'll find is that Netflix or Amazon or whichever, we're saying Netflix and Amazon because they're the big players at the moment, right?
Yeah, true.
But somebody will come knocking on your door based on a little wedding video that you did that they saw and they loved how you captured them or something that you did in it.
Yeah.
And they'll come to you asking you to do a big production, whether it's a documentary or whether it's a movie. And in your head, I don't know how you think about it. You'll be thinking, what? That? But they'll be like, yeah, all we need is for you to translate what you've done on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
We just need you to translate it on a larger scale. And they give you a whole big budget.
Bro, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I have so many ideas. At the moment, I'm just waiting for the budget to catch up with my ideas.
I know. Because that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, hearing you, your story, your vibe, your energy is so eerily similar to me. I'm like, fam. I'm just so glad that we sat down and we had this conversation because in everything that you're doing where it's like you started in the pandemic.
Yeah.
You're growing slowly. You're passionate about what
definitely.
you do. When you were talking about buying a camera, you know, where you bought your first camera and it cost you a certain amount of money, you told your wife, and at the time it didn't make sense. That's exactly what happened with me. I said to my wife, like, boo, I need to buy these Shure SMB microphones. These are
These are legit. These are Shure.
Podcasting microphones.
Yeah.
But they don't come cheap. They're very expensive. But she's believed in everything that I'm doing and told that I'm building, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that I put together where in the moment it hasn't made sense.
It hasn't made sense, yeah.
But because of the vision that I have and because of the longer term plan that I've got, I'm like, I have so much confidence, so much faith that something amazing is coming.
Yeah, dude. Let's big up the ladies though. Let's big up the misses.
My wife has been so supportive,
bro. Let's look at it this way, right?
Yeah,
I have a baby, right? I have a child.
Yep.
What time is it now?
Talking about 3. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's
right.
Like, yeah. You need to be home, person. We need to
and what time is it now for you?
Yeah.
Our missus.
Yeah.
They've allowed us to do this because they understand the vision.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
They understand the vision. So like we need to big up the wives for sure. Cause you know, without their support, like this wouldn't work. Imagine if the missus was not going, my guy is
what's going on?
Wrap it up and come and help with the children.
Yeah. Who's coming where with the children? Yeah. No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely we need to big them up, man.
I hear
for sure.
You. Yeah. Speaking of which, this is something that I'd written earlier. I wanted to ask you, say, how do you manage the balance, bro? Because what I know for a fact, like me, I've been burning the candle at two ends, and my balance hasn't been great at the moment. However, it's the way I convince my wife is I tell her it's temporary, right? For now, I have to do certain things because obviously, similar to you, I've got a full-time job that I do. That full-time job is like 5 days a week. Yeah. So let's say, for example, I'm shooting this podcast today. The editing, like I'll shoot one day, do some bits, then another day that's for editing. So we're talking about sometimes I will have 7-day weeks. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah. So how have you been managing that balance between work and family? Like, I mean,
bro, it's difficult.
Full-time work,
I'm not gonna lie.
Thing, and family, or have you at all? Right?
Yeah. It's difficult because let me tell you how my day goes. Right. Right. So obviously, I live close to Leeds now, and I commute to Sheffield for work. So I have to wake up early in the morning, right? Get ready, commute to work, make sure I get there for 9. Yep. Right. Finish work, get back for 5. Well, I finish 5. Yeah. Get back home for like 6, 7. Really? Obviously, there's the baby at home. Yeah. You know, there's the missus at home. You can't, and I have projects, I have deadlines. Wow. I can't just come and drop my bag and go upstairs and start editing. Sometimes I wish I could do that. Yeah. But then again, you also have to remember, you know, that there are more important things to do. You know, like family comes first at the end of the day, you know, and what we're both doing, we're doing it for family. Yes. Really and truly. Absolutely, bro. We're doing it for ourselves as well. Yeah. But really, my focus is to get to a point where financially, we can do whatever we want. An autonomous freedom. Yeah. Not just it's financial, and because then you'll find be doing less hours, more people will be doing more of the heavy lifting for you. Exactly. And that's what, so my day at the moment is very hectic. Okay. Like I get home, I try and spend a couple of hours, you know, with my wife, and my son. Yeah. And what I'd usually do is once my son goes to bed around 9:30, my wife would usually go to bed around 10. Then I can sit down and edit my videos or try and catch up on work or my other work.
Yeah.
Editing.
It's all
sometimes until like 2 a.m. And then go to bed and wake up at 6:30 and do it all over again. 5 days a week. And sometimes I may have to travel. Obviously, weekends I'll have to travel to maybe London for a wedding, or I have a music video in Sheffield or Leeds that I have to go to. Do you know what I mean? So it hasn't been great, but that is the current situation. Like that, Absolutely. This is where we are at the moment. Is there's the part of the journey we are.
Yes,
it's not always going to be like this.
No,
do you know what I mean?
And it's not the thing that will convince you. Do you get what I mean? Yeah, because it's not always going to be like this.
It's not. It's just. It's impossible for it to be for it to remain like this forever. Do you know what I mean?
No,
so yeah, and I kind of that's how I see it. So I try not to let it stress me too much, and I try my best to, make sure that I'm spending good quality time in my
when you can
with the family when I can. Yeah.
No, I heard you the other time. I was about to. I was going to reach out to you, and you're telling me, if I don't answer, that means I'm your boy. I think just a few things that you've said have kind of showed me that you're a hands-on kind of dad. You're a hands-on kind of person.
I try to be, man. I try to be.
I don't think there's a try about it. There is, because from when you were mentioning, I was like, yeah, man, this guy looks like he's hands-on.
Because that's how we were raised, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what, literally, that's how we were raised. We don't know any different, like my dad was always hands-on with me.
Brilliant.
My parents more or less stayed together until my dad passed away.
Sorry to hear
so no, it's fine. That's a couple of years ago. But that is what I know. And for me, I can be very territorial. And my son, he's part of my territory, so he falls under my remit.
There you go. About he falls under my remit.
Yes, that is he's part of the circle, isn't it? So I have to make sure he's good.
I was gonna ask you, right? Like as you were saying, we grew up together. I remember you from back in the days, when we were in college and all that kind of stuff. Now I'm looking at you. You're a dad, fam.
Yeah, that's
you're a working man. Yeah. You're a husband. You're building a business.
Yeah.
That from just hearing you speaking for 2 seconds, I can tell you're very passionate about, bro.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
As you've seen my situation here.
Hey,
I'm a dad
you did
of
your
2,
thing.
right?
Hey, you did
my girl was first born and got my son now, bro.
Hey.
I want to ask you, what was that feeling, bro, right? Being a dad, like the first time round, and I know you stated it's a pandemic baby.
Yeah.
That you've gotten that sort of thing. Take us through a little bit, just a snippet of what that's been like being a dad for the first time. What's that experience been like?
Do you know what? My thought, listen, this is mad, isn't it? Because I ran so many traffic lights that day when my son was being born.
Really?
Yeah, trying to get my wife to the hospital. Mate, I ran bare traffic lights. Wow. Man. I did not care one bit. Yeah. And I nearly missed my son being born because I couldn't find parking.
Bruh, good luck explaining that.
Yes, I couldn't find parking. And I remember I had to leave my wife downstairs. I felt so bad because she was in the middle. She was in so much pain, but I couldn't park there, so I had to let her go.
Wow.
I felt so bad. Wow. So I tried to find parking, rushed back to the delivery room. By the time I got there, my son was almost born. He was almost crowning. So I asked the nurse whether I could help with with bringing him out. And they were like, yeah. And they threw me 2 gloves to wear. As soon as I put one on, his head came out. So I kind of held it like this. I didn't even get a chance to put the other one on.
Deliver.
Yep. She pushed and Selassie literally just came out. It was so hot.
That's going to make the trailers. Bro, that's an amazing story,
It was so hot. I could not believe how hot it was. It was literally
Yeah.
It was so, I remember my hand felt so hot and he started crying. So yeah, I was actually really proud of myself because I thought I was going to pass out, you know. Because you hear so many stories of like people passing out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like, so, you're saying some stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was going to pass out, so I was very scared. But literally, as soon as, you know, I got in the delivery room, like I was on it.
Yes.
I was like, and he came, you know, glove on one hand, no glove on the other hand, bloody. It was in my hand, you know, slippery, and that's how he came, man. So I was very happy.
I can imagine when you held him for the first time. What was that feeling?
It was great. It was.
Well,
do you know what?
Like,
for me,
not the same anymore.
I was like,
you had any excuses, but it's kind of like it just helps to give you a different perspective. On the world, doesn't it?
I was like,
right?
Oh man, I've got a son now. You know that is bad. Do you know what I was worried about? Do you know what I was worried about?
Yeah.
I had a bit of anxiety because I was like, mad. I'm actually responsible for this guy.
Exactly.
You know? I can't mess up.
The rest of his life.
I was like, I need to clean up. Like, I need to try and do better. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie, having a child, is helped my focus because I've always I'm just naturally just sometimes all over the place because my mind just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
Okay.
But having a son or having a child,
different thing.
It's just it's just the focus is helped me focus a lot.
No, I can imagine. Do you get what I mean? I was saying, like, when I was a bachelor, there's certain things that I could do and get away with. You know, sometimes when things are hard, you don't eat correctly. Sometimes you don't even eat at all.
You don't eat at
sometimes
all,
you drink your lunch for a week. Say you're fasting. Right? That's what I say. All kinds of things. And now you imagine it when you've got kids. That ain't it no more, right? Like, you have to make sure you provide for them. You have to make sure you're there for them. Yeah. It's a completely different kind of vibe.
Is.
So there's like a weight and responsibility that comes over you and that sort of thing. Having said that, for me, such a joyous occasion. You know, I remember when my daughter came and it's like, that's something that I'd always wanted. I wanted a family. Do you get what I mean? Because from early, like, I lost my dad when I was young, like when I was 12 years old. I lost my dad, then unfortunately lost my mum again 2011. Right? So then there was a period of time where I just didn't have a sense of family. Right? Living as a bachelor, and you know what it's like wilding out and all this other stuff as a bachelor. But in the bachelor life, they reached a point where I was like, it's not for me, bro. Like, for me, I just remembered growing up as a kid. I grew up in a family unit. Mom was there, dad was there, cousins, and we were really loving big family unit. And I realized that my soul craved that. It craved an environment where I can come home to someone and with the kids and everything. That is what I wanted, and I craved that for so long. So it's like when I met my wife, like, and her characteristics, I just knew, like, this is the person for me, right? This is the person I can build with and that sort of thing. And by God's grace,
you're doing it
building,
now.
and we'll be doing it. And it's like one of the best things that ever happened. Of course, it's a weight, bro. Like, it's, you know, it's not always easy and everything else, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me, bro. You know? And that's what I was saying, like, hearing you speak and everything else that you've been through is eerily similar to myself. Nowadays, kind of like, you know, you say things and I can relate to it, bro. You know? But and I could just see, like, amazing things. Great things are going.
We're trying, man. We're trying. Yeah, we like small. Small. We're trying,
bro. You know what? I mean, it's been an absolutely amazing conversation having to yourself. I know there's more for us to chat about. And you know, the time will come where we can revisit even the project that you're doing. I did want to mention this, or to ask you this question actually. Would you say that your sister has been one of your biggest supporters?
Oh, hell yeah.
Perhaps, can you describe a little bit about, you know, the kind of support that she's given you?
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned that earlier.
Shout out to my sister.
Hey, she sounds like a number one fan, right?
Yeah. No, Hamuk has actually, like, seriously, like, when I started this, again, I was just doing it for fun.
Okay.
And literally, whenever I shot a video, I wouldn't even tell her to post it.
Oh, wow.
You know, because
she'd just do it.
She would just do it. And she's got, like, a huge following on Instagram.
Okay.
So whenever she posts, like, like, my videos and stuff like that, you know, she'll, you know, big me up and that, like, hey, that's my brother, you know.
There you go.
You need to book him now, innit? Because like once he becomes big, you can't afford him anymore. So you need to book him now.
Yeah.
So even like my first wedding that I got was through her.
Brilliant.
Like one of her friends obviously contacted me through the random videos that she would post of me and I'm telling you, these videos had nothing to do with weddings. It was just random videos I would shoot that I would literally just go out into town.
So by the time you were ending up shooting the wedding, it was from other videos that had nothing to do with wedding.
Yeah. I never shot a wedding before like that.
This is when I actually believe that the Netflix and Amazon thing is coming. Somebody's coming to you for a movie.
Charlie, that'll be hard, you know.
I'm telling you, I'm talking about Korean cinema and all this stuff. Yeah,
that's usually, like I was saying, like, so one of her friends just contacted me from obviously her pushing me on a platform.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, do you want to shoot my wedding?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Could do.
Yeah. And she was like, oh, okay, so what are your rates? And I'm like, dude, I didn't tell her that, but at the time in my head, I'm like, I don't have no rates.
Let me get back to you on that one.
I've never shot, and I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I need to, just speak to my team. I did not have a team.
You're your team. It's kind of like when I say we, I mean me.
We.
I always say us, but you know though, that's thinking something into existence. So do you know you're thinking of the future because it will be a we.
Yeah.
It will be. I always speak in that's how I speak. I say our and we. And what we're doing.
Yeah.
Even though
no, it's true. It's true. And luckily for me, like when I started, or when I started getting projects, luckily I was working with one of my friends called Quissy, and like we both started together.
Okay.
He loves videos, like that guy. Nice. And he's a sick photographer. He's one of the best photographers I've ever known.
Nice, really?
But then he decided to kind of like get into videography.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we kind of like started together. And obviously because of work and stuff like that, I think he's taking work a bit more serious now.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got like a huge promotion, literally looking after a whole department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, mate, if that's what is bringing the coin, like you need to concentrate on that
commitment.
Yeah. So obviously at the moment, because of that, I'm back to kind of like working by myself again. But at the time when this girl contacted me, when I got my first wedding, I was working with him. So I called him up like, bro, like we have a wedding. We've never shot weddings before. We just randomly like shoot videos because he lives in London. He would shoot random videos and he'll send it to me. I'm like, yeah, that's so sick. Oh, bro, I'm gonna go shoot some too. And then we shoot together. We're just like, getting excited about stuff like that, about videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, we obviously went online, did our research, looked at like the average prices that people, charge for weddings. Yeah. And then we put together like, what do you call it? Like a charge list of the kind of, what product we can get for you kind of thing. And then we sent it to her, and I was actually waiting for her to ask me like, can you send me some example projects? And I was waiting. She never asked. And I was like, this girl, does she know that I've never shot a wedding before? And I started getting really, really nervous.
I can imagine, bro.
Yeah. So it's funny because it was after we shot the wedding.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, mate, like, how did you know I was going to be able to do your wedding?
Like, did we even do everything that we're supposed to do?
And then she was like, oh, no, don't worry, because obviously, your sister, Jemima bigs you up all the time. And I've seen your videos and I knew you could do it. And just trust in yourself, believe in yourself. I was like, God,
it was off the back of the fact that your sister just bigged you
up,
bro.
Yeah. Like my sister has bigged me up so much. Like, even aside from that, my sister has another friend who is a wedding planner.
Okay.
I don't know whether I can say her name, but she's amazing. Like, she is so sick. Her name is Asamta. Please don't kill me, Asamta. I love you. Like, she's amazing. Like, she's one of the best wedding planners in the country at the moment. I wish I could, plug her Instagram, but
No, listen, you need to send her my way, fam.
Yeah.
I want to have her on.
Yeah.
And have a conversation about wedding planning.
She lives all the way in London.
In London?
Yeah, that is the only
we'll
thing.
make it work.
Yeah?
Yes, fam.
Cool.
Yes.
But yeah, she obviously saw my videos with my sister as well.
Brilliant.
My sister's page, and she contacted me like, oh yeah, I have a few, weddings? Are you interested in covering them for me? And by that time, I'd shot the first one for my other sister's friend, so I was a bit more confident that I could maybe do it. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And then so I think I've done like 3 weddings with her so far.
Okay.
So this year I've actually done me and my team so far, we've done 4 weddings together.
Wow.
And then the one I shot last week was,
Brilliant.
the one I did by myself. Yeah. So no, it's good. It's going well. My sister has been a blessing for sure. I love that girl.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. I thought to throw that in because I was like, yeah, I think you had mentioned it earlier. The level of support that she's showing you and everything else. And sometimes, you need that. You need that number one fan. You need that person that's always liking and commenting on your videos. That one comment and like. For me, that's been my wife actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. My YouTube videos, I'll put them. Obviously, the following is slowly growing. And I'm not there yet, right?
Yeah.
So you'll find she's the one that will comment and she will like and, she will push. And it's like, you need that, yeah? But then you will definitely get to a point to where obviously when you get bigger, you're like, you remember that. So you need that.
No, for sure. Listen, like if I ever make her big, my sister is finished in it.
There you go.
For real.
Are you sure she's not the one that's going to make it big before you?
And that would be great. If she makes it big, I'm probably done too.
There you go, right?
For real. Like, it's important to have that support.
Absolutely.
And it's important to have people trust in you or believe in you, because I think most creatives do not believe in themselves.
Nope.
That is I don't want to say that's a fact, but I've spoken to enough creatives to know that you need, because as a creative, when you create something, you want feedback. Yeah. Naturally, when you put something out, you want to see how people react to it. Right? Yeah. So most creatives are not always very sure.
No.
So is that feedback?
Because it's like you put your heart and soul into it. Mm-hmm. You put your heart and soul into the production. You put your heart and soul into the edit. Yeah.
You stay up
it's kind of like when people now come, like, well, and it's like, oh God, I spend hours.
I know.
To make that.
and listen, it's something you just have to deal with. Yes. And it's all part of relationship management and managing expectations, really, because I've done videos before where I've sent it to the client. Yeah. And they've looked at it and they've picked it apart, which is fair enough. No, there's nothing wrong with that because they paid for it.
Which is standard, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. You should be willing, you should be willing to 100%. Accept. You should be willing to, because as well, sometimes it's not even picking it apart. It's just people have their own ideas of what they want.
What they want.
In your head, it might look because of the way you look at it. But then the person, based on whatever it is that they want, they might want it their way. You might not agree, but as you said, if it's a paying client, you have to do. And guess what? If they pick it apart, always right. You tell me what you want. Yes, I'll do exactly the same. They want, and then if they're happy after, even if you don't agree, like the shadows off, but that's what they want. That's what they want. So you give them what
and
they
if you
want.
think about it, that's why a lot of directors do director's cut.
Yes,
because most people edit something, give it to the client, and then they'll re-edit a director's cut. Yeah, because a director's cut is basically what they wanted to show artistically in the first place, but obviously they had to do it for the client
in a
first.
certain way. Yeah,
do you know what I mean? No, so like you work with certain people, and you stay up for hours and hours and hours, and you edit and you send it to them, and they're like, oh, but I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this, and it's like, okay, fair enough. Hey, no problem. I'll change it for you. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Brother. You gave, inspiration took over. Hey. Technical difficulties happened, but I'm glad they did, because I feel like the conversation that we've had after technical difficulties has actually been more lit than the one, right? And I was going to ask you, like, what advice, briefly perhaps, would you give to a person that is a creative, that is talented, right? And perhaps they haven't had the kind of epiphany you had because of the pandemic. I had the epiphany of knowing that I can do this because of the pandemic as well, right? Yeah. And that's how I am now, where you come and you're appreciating the space. And it's because I'm really confident and I'm really passionate and I really want to do this on a bigger scale. Yeah. And that's the reason why, or else I wouldn't pour what I poured in, and my heart actually is more important. Like my heart is on the line here. It's not if people will be like, oh yeah, wait, no, it's actually it's true. My heart is the one that's more on the line in what I'm doing. So What advice would you have for somebody that's sort of maybe delaying, or they're sitting on their talent and the creativity, their God-given purpose is what I've called it? Because I'll say to you, right, even in asking this question, I think you are living in your purpose.
Yeah.
With what you're doing, I think you are called to do it, and you know, this is why you enjoy it, and this is why even when you grow it, you can grow it to a level that somebody else can't.
Yeah.
Because this is what you were meant to be doing, right?
And I was just gonna add, you know, you're living in your purpose when you know you're not gonna stop.
Absolutely.
Right.
And even when you know the long hours don't seem like long hours.
Yeah. And even back in those times where I wasn't as committed, you know, to my crafts as I am now.
Yeah.
Even back in those times, I always knew that later on, I'm going to get back into video production.
Absolutely.
I always knew it, but I just kept putting it off.
But you were delaying. So the question is, what would you say to somebody who is delaying and they should get on with it?
Simply just get on with it, bro.
Right.
Like, don't delay.
Yes.
Don't delay, because time, I mean, they say time is money.
Yeah.
And time, aside from being money, is time is experience.
Yes.
Right? You're good, but you can always be better.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And you can only get better through time. Mm-hmm. So the more time you waste, you will still be on the same level that you are at the moment, because you're not actually exercising your craft.
Yeah.
Because it's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
Right? If you go to the gym and you don't work on this arm, everything else will get hinged. Yeah. This arm will not get hinged. Right? Yeah. Creativity is kind of similar.
Yeah.
You have to practice your craft.
Absolutely.
And the most important thing is just utilizing your time and starting. Literally, the time is now, really. As simple as that. And don't stop.
Yeah.
It gets creatives, you know, it gets a bit difficult. You know, you get
there'll be times.
There'll be times.
You don't see returns immediately.
You don't see returns.
I haven't seen any returns yet, but that's not been my focus.
It's not. It shouldn't be.
Yep.
It shouldn't be.
Not my focus.
Yeah. You know, people are not always going to like what you do.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you should stop.
Absolutely.
That means you should get better.
Yeah.
It's literally as simple as that, right? So yeah, you know, you do it, you start, you know, you hit hurdles. The most important thing is just don't stop, really.
Absolutely. Brother man, once again, I probably said this earlier, I'm so thankful. We're so grateful to have had you in this space, because I feel like for you didn't only bring your story here, you brought your energy, bruv.
Yeah,
your vibe is just next level.
Straight up.
It's lit. Plus with the lion hair, you go with the beard, you're like some wise African man.
I don't know about wise, bro. Me, I'm just
when I was looking at your photos before, it was like the older photos. I don't think you had the you know, the beard and the thing. It's like now you're a whole presence. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But also just the work that you're doing, because it's like, as I said, you're building, I'm building as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes that's how God works. Like in the periods, similar time that you came to the UK is a similar time I came.
Yeah.
So when you were experiencing what you were experiencing in your own, that's what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
Probably when you went to uni, similar times, right?
Yeah.
So we're at this time where you're doing something in your respective field. I'm wanting to, you know, draw away in this respective field, you know, podcasting, audio with visuals, but mainly it's conversations and talking and podcasting, which is what I want to really pave a way in, do more, share more of our stories. The stories that ordinarily wouldn't be heard. You know, people that people don't think about, but it's to do it with certain tact, it's to do it with certain style. So that it draws people in. And even with this, I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know, it's here, but I want to elevate it. Even to a greater stage, so that, but then the thing that won't change is that the stories that I'll be telling are the stories that are closely hearted to me, and the stories that are close to me that I feel that will impact people. I'll still be speaking to you. I'll still be speaking to the people that I know, for as long as they're on a path where they're doing something to inspire, and it's a story that is worth listening to. And I feel that yours definitely is, fam. Like
Thank
even
you.
the simple things that you probably don't think about having a family, having a wife, having your kid, and being an invested father. There's a whole conversation that we'll probably have later on about you being a dad and everything else. But just saying, you know, gratitude. I'm so thankful. You know, thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro.
It's been fun.
Had some technical difficulties and whatever, but you've been so patient, and I thank you for your grace.
This is what we do,
right? I was gonna say before we wrap it up completely, if there's anything that you want to say in wrapping, go ahead.
Nah, man. Listen, thank you so much for obviously having me. You're doing something really, really great here.
Thanks,
obviously having people like myself on your platform, you know. Trying to grow together, you know, we're all from the diaspora, we're all, you know, African. So yeah, man, African boys are doing bits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, come on.
Japanese cinema.
Hey, you already know, man.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
I've been here. We show SMB,
hey,
mate.
Listen.
Nah, brother, listen. Thank you so much, guys. It's been another episode of Let Inspiration Take Over. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've given a little bit of us. Yeah. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Before, actually, I noticed that there's something I forgot. Where can people find you in terms of your socials and that sort of thing? Yeah.
Okay, so my Instagram for my business, I've had to clear it up to rebrand. Yeah. So I literally just rebranded this year.
Brilliant.
To focus on wedding videography.
Nice.
So that business is We Move Pictures.
Okay, brilliant.
As in, you know, we move
pictures, literally and metaphorically.
Exactly.
There you go.
And then my personal, so I'll usually put like music videos and stuff like that I've shot on my personal. That one is One Take Freddie.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. So One Take.
Yeah.
Freddie.
Nice. All right, Freddie. Thank you so much, guys. It's been your boy, Isaac Speaks. Catch us in the next one. Thank you for being here today. Cheers.